Yeah. There you go.
Good.
And as far as members, I'm still listing you, Christine, as the chair, as officially.
Yeah, we haven't voted yet.
Okay.
Should we close the door? Hi, Bill. And
Hey,
would
Bill.
you mind closing the door, Bill, it's a little noisy out in the hall. Thanks. So, we'll call the meeting to order at 7:07. And we'll start with the draft minutes from March 19th.
No public comment.
Don't we do that after?
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, I'm sorry.
Actually, I have the April 2nd. And today is April 2nd.
We're good.
I wasn't here, so
Yes.
On page two,
for page 2.
yeah, under D, it says Jeff will be spell out all
Oh,
acronyms.
dear.
I crossed out the B.
Yeah.
And I had one more.
I also noted at the top, I put Annex.
Oh, yep. Thank you.
Sorry, there's so long.
You had a very productive meeting. Mm,
Oh,
Here. At the top.
on page 5,
Okay.
under F, says mention about stormwater is that it should not drain into road. I put inserted the into the road. Other than that, I think you did an excellent job.
I agree.
So I'll motion to approve the draft minutes of March 19th.
Second.
And we do a roll call vote. So Russ,
Yes.
Yes.
I abstained.
Yes.
So we don't have a quorum.
Do you need a quorum?
I don't know. We have a quorum to
Yeah.
vote and it's majority.
I think it's just majority on the
Yeah.
minutes. I think we're okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Public comments? Did you have anything to bring to us tonight? No? Okay. I have you on the agenda a little bit later, but is there anything else you wanted to add?
No,
Okay.
if anybody's got any questions.
Okay, well, when we get up to the election of officers, we'll cover that. So then the next is the natural resources regulatory audit. I do have one other item which was on the agenda for the last meeting, which was the zoning amendment, which were all approved, which you discussed, but we do have to get the zoning ordinance updated with the changes. So that has not been done yet online. I've been working on it today. It's one of those tricky things when you insert new text, the formatting goes haywire. So I'm working on it and Keith has offered to help as well. So once I get all the language in, I will want someone to take a look at it to just make sure I've got everything. Happy to send it to everyone if that's easiest. I would add, though, that the petition warrant article has to go to legal for language there because I thought I printed her email. You know, there's that portion of it that conflicts with the state RSA about alternates. So what Laura said is that we put it in as voted on, as written, the petition warrant article. And then we'd put a note in referencing the RSA, just saying the RSA overrules the zoning ordinance. So alternates are still appointed, not elected. And then next year, we would have to put something to the voters to make the change in the zoning ordinance. Unless the state changes the law between now and then. That would be the process. So Laura's gonna get me the language for that and we'll look at it at our next meeting.
We have a
So,
whole year. They wouldn't even be voting in.
right, right. So it's, yeah, it's fine. So yeah, there's no changes this year. Any questions on that, or we move on? Okay, so then natural resources audit, it sounded like everything went well at the last meeting. Does anybody want to speak to that? I listened to the meeting on, the Zoom recording, but anybody want to add anything?
Did you speak with Jeff about the money?
Yes, so that's the next part of that. I did. I didn't speak with Jeff. I spoke with Carter. Well, I emailed Carter and I spoke with Carol and Ivy because there are still some sections of the master plan that will require some work. So I asked if they could work within the parameters. So we have left from the grant $8,762. $1,000 of that roughly is what he felt he needed to finish the map work, would leave about 7,500. So that was the number I said to Carol, because I think it's just master plan chapters at this point that Ivy's work is done. That leaves about 7,500 remaining for her work. And she said she could make it work, but there may be some cleanup work that the planning board would have to do on the back end. So it's, she would give us the drafts and we could do the final version, which, we would essentially be doing anyway. So she'll work within that number if we want to put an additional $1,000 towards the maps.
So we don't need to go to the selectmen to.
We do not. If we go this route, I mean, the other option, I would, we could and not put the constraint on Carol and still have her do the work. And if she goes over, then we could go to the select board. The other thing is I did get an email that another round of funding will become available. I don't know when. It's possible that we could ask for some money to finish this work for them, but there's no guarantee. So we have some options. It seems to me the map is pretty critical too.
I think that goes in line with the HOP grant, but you can't really finish the master plan without that.
Right,
We can only get the maps that.
right,
say we can edit at the end.
right. That's kind of where I was thinking, but I didn't.
Anything another 1,000.
So Jeff said he thought another 1,000 was what he needed to finish the maps for the master plan. And I would also add that some of those are referenced in our zoning ordinance. So, we do want to have accurate maps. So is there a motion to do that? To give $1,000 more of the HOP grant money for the maps?
I would need to give $1,000 to Jeff for the HOP grant.
Yeah, I think we have to. Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, so we'll vote on that then. Russ?
Yes.
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 Okay, that motion carries. I'll let Jeff know. And Carol as well. The other thing I wanted to just remind everyone is April 17th at 6 in the town hall. Jeff Littleton will be here to do the natural resources inventory presentation. It's a family-friendly event, correct? Yes. Interactive, as I understand it. I think he's got a lot planned, so open.
Good storyteller.
He is, yeah. So, so please, so please come and tell your friends and neighbors to come as well. I think it'll be really good, really interesting. That's Moosewood, yeah, Jeff Littleton.
What's the date?
Yeah.
At 6,
April 17th,
yeah, in the big
6 p.m. in the big room at the town hall. great flyer too. I don't know, did you do that or did?
No,
Town
he
meeting.
did. It was one of, he creates these for other towns.
Yeah.
Just added our info.
That's great. Great.
So I was, oh, I guess I read the minutes, but I don't know if I missed it. We made a few notes with Jeff about what he was going over, what he was doing and what was left to do. And the notes I had were, one of them was in regards to the economic development, that we add an implementation section.
Yep.
That was per Carol, actually.
Yep.
And so, but I didn't know is that something Jeff's just gonna do or Carol's gonna do? We don't have to worry about that, is that?
So as part of the grant, we were asked to add an implementation chapter into our master plan. Right now, it's in the future land use chapter, so it's sort of brings everything together there instead of an implementation. So yes, that will happen. So I think it will come out of, Jeff will take it and then Carol will put it all together for us in the implementation. And there'll be recommendations from other chapters as well.
That's within.
That's within the scope of the original grant, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I had any other. That's not very number of it.
And I know you talked about the driveway, Jeff's recommendations for the driveway already too, but I think that's a to be continued when Murray's. Anything else on either of those two, the maps or the audit?
The maps focused mostly on the watershed stuff.
No, not necessarily. So in the master plan, there's a number of maps. There's, pull one out. Where are you? There's existing land use, there's future land use, there's aquifers, there's, where buildings are, where there's development, there's forests. This transportation infrastructure. So basically what we're trying to do is line up all of these elements with the lot lines, which is no easy task as it turns out, because we don't have a GIS map for the town of Temple. So that's what they're trying to do, is to make everything compatible with our current tax maps, which may or may not have accurate lot lines.
Okay, so some of the.
I think the districts are okay. I guess we'll,
The watershed district. Don't necessarily.
Right, that's gonna be.
right, right. This is, as the rivers. Yeah, the critical ones, as you mentioned, are the wetlands and the aquifers.
Okay.
Right.
I
And
think
there's.
what he's doing with the map part, yeah,
That's it.
it'll all, a lot of that information is already mapped, named like nature granite. And other sources. But our tax maps are not on the same datum and are not accurate. So I think what he's doing is taking our tax maps and trying to align them up to, say, latitude, longitude, so that all these other sources, when he brings them in and makes a map, will all kind of overlay where they should. So topography, for instance, when you're looking at a watershed, you won't have lot lines going over the mountain, whereas, maybe the watershed should be top of the mountain, if you want to map it correct, that kind of thing.
Anything else on those two items? Okay, so on the HOP grant, the interviews continue. Cathy, Russ, you probably know this too. The interviews are continuing. We expect something at the end of the month. And as I mentioned, we are expecting another round of funding to come out. So when we get more information, we'll discuss it. Master plan chapter updates still to come. It sounds like maybe, is there someone trying to come in? The next is the FEMA, oh no, sorry, tax map updates. So we have the paper copies that were all updated. They were delivered to the town office on March 12th. The website hasn't been updated yet. I've got to put together the files and a Google Drive for Carol, and she'll take care of updating all of that. So there were a couple corrections that were made after the first round, so it's not all together. I've just got to make sure I send her the right ones. Once that happens, I'll let you all know, and hopefully you can take a look at it and make sure we got it right. The FEMA flood maps. Just a reminder, the deadline to appeal those maps is May 28th. And I did hear back from Heather Shank, who's a senior planner at the Office of Planning and Development in New Hampshire. And she will come to our April 16th meeting, our next meeting. If that word still works for everyone. So
What's her name?
Heather Shank, SHANK. And I sent her our maps and gave her just a little bit of background, but not a lot. So come with questions, and yeah, we'll learn more at the next meeting. All the information is on the website on the planning board page as well. On the right side of the screen, I think. Subdivision regs, I sent them to Joe Driscoll on March 6th. He responded on March 22nd. Ross followed up with him on, I think, the 26th, and he's on vacation this week.
April 8th or something. You look at them.
Yeah, so it's delayed another week. See what we get back before our next meeting. Next up is the election of officers. And that kind of goes hand in hand with the responsibility document I shared at the last meeting. And I know you all talked about positions at the last meeting. I listened to the recording. Thank you for not nominating me, electing me as chair again.
No, we did.
No, you didn't. I listened. So Bruce and I spoke earlier today a little bit. I don't know, Bruce, if you had any thoughts on when you look at the things to do, what you might need help with if you're still willing to.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's a choice because nobody else on the board will take chair, so. And like I had said, it's in the minutes, the last meeting, that I guess I'll do it reluctantly, but I'll do it depending on how much help I get, and from you, and then Carter had said that she'd offer a lot of help, and Cathy had said that she could offer a lot of help. So I think if we do it as a team, everybody does a little bit of this list.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot, what you did, what you've been doing.
Well,
is
and
a lot-
before
is a lot.
me, Betsy did a lot of this, so that's credit to her as well. And yeah, it is hopefully we can cover everything. And
So like preparing the agenda and submitting and posting and getting information to the Carols. If maybe Cathy could help me with that, I can give you an email with a rough draft of the agenda. And then
And you want to
change from yeah, sure. That would be huge for me. And then when it comes to hearings, newspaper, website, somebody could help with that. I was thinking maybe Carter, but maybe you or whoever. Just those are the details that just would be good for me to, working a 50-hour-a-week job and being on other boards.
Right.
We're all busy, but it's just
right.
it's totally impossible for me to be able to do everything that you used to do. So whatever anybody wants to pick, Russ, or when Carter's here, and Murray. whatever they want to help out with on that list of responsibilities will be.
Yeah, I mean, some of these things like run Zoom meetings, figure out how to do this pretty quick.
How about oversee like the tax map revisions and,
Tax map revisions, I could do that. And if you wanted help with the applications, I mean, since I do applications. all the time.
We would love for you to do that, Rod.
it's your strong suit, yeah, it's your, yeah. That'd be great. Russ.
Yeah, and which doesn't mean you have to be doing the notices and all of that too. We can help with that, but if you could guide people through the process and, sort of start to finish on that, that'd be really huge. And we don't get a lot, but when they do come through, it's a bit of time. I normally put a lot of time into it, so.
Oh, I don't mind. I kind of feel like that would be nice. I go to enough of them where you don't get help
Yeah,
and it's just irritating. Like you're trying to figure stuff out. So I feel it would be nice that our board at least could. Since I know what they're all going to say, hey, this is what you should do. Think of this, think of that.
right.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Mhm.
So as far as the inquiries, Bruce, you felt like you'd be able to handle emails
I can, yeah, any
and
inquiries,
calls or whatever?
yeah, I can do that.
And you can always, feed them out to people if it's proofreading the minutes. Carter's been doing that. The website. Do you want me to do?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you or Carter could do that would be great.
I mean, it's always the collaborative. I
Yeah.
won't just go make changes without bringing it here
You've been
first.
doing the
but-
tracking of of all the legislative updates and the webinars and training and
Yep,
all of that. I don't know how much work that is
it's not a lot.
for you.
The forms and documents, we kind of do that together, but getting them online and I'll work with Cathy to put them in one central location. Does that work? The other hole we need to fill, well, there's a couple other things. The planning board clerk payroll documents doesn't take very long. Is that something you can,
I'm sure I can figure it out.
I can do,
Yeah.
the first couple with you if you want?
Yep.
And you
Yeah.
can be the contact for NHMA and legal.
Absolutely.
The other thing that I was reminded of, well, the annual report we generally work on together too, but the CIP, we have not had anyone go to CIP meetings, I think, since Ted Petro, which is a while. I think I was the rep for this past year and I told them I couldn't go to Wednesday meetings and they did not change their meetings. So I didn't go to the meetings.
Yeah.
So I know you go to a lot of meetings already. So I'm not sure what to do with that one. You go to meetings
Maybe
too.
Murray,
Maybe, I mean, he also travels, but it would be,
even if we just went a couple times a year, just to.
yeah,
Let's look for another CIP meeting.
they don't meet in
They
the summer. Yeah,
Get that in the
Yeah, they're heavy in the fall, right? Right.
right, leading up to budget season.
It used to be anything over $5,000, but they moved it up, so it's just anything over 10,000.
I could probably do that, because I'm assuming my other meetings, the steering committee and the highway garage. are probably gonna be winding down at some point.
Once a month, probably.
Yeah.
A lot of times the PAC meeting, right.
Yeah, they do them together.
Yeah, do them together almost.
Okay. Usually most town planning board meetings are Tuesdays and Thursdays, it seems, so it's not on Wednesday. As long as they stay on Wednesday, I'm good.
That'd be great. And we can try to back it up, you up if you need us to cover, but yeah, we'll have, I'll give Gail I think Gail is the chair still, I'll give her your email.
Okay.
So I think we have covered just about everything there, so all that's left is I motion that Bruce be the chair for the next year, 2024, 2025.
Second,
Russ,
Yes.
Bruce,
Am I supposed to vote for myself?
yes, please,
Yes.
yeah.
yes,
And,
And Christine, this is Murray on the phone. I was just joined,
oh, hi,
if
Murray.
that helps you.
Murray's here. All right. How do you vote, Murray?
Yes,
Fine. Thanks a lot.
Murray, did you hear our
sorry.
conversation about the CIP, and are there any tasks on the responsibilities list you would like to take on?
I wasn't able to catch the conversation if it was more than like 20 seconds ago. I just joined when you
Oh.
said Bruce for chair.
Okay. All right, well, we were just talking about the responsibilities, and I think we've covered most things. Russ is willing to do the CIP, but we wondered if that was something you would be interested in. They meet generally in the fall on Wednesdays, and it is sometimes earlier, right? Don't they meet sometimes like 6 instead?
They might.
Yeah,
I don't go to too many of the CIP meetings.
yeah, I think it's Ken
I go
is,
to the-
I don't think you wouldn't need to go to more than a couple, probably. I think it's just to be in the know.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that if they're at a time I can make. I've noticed some of them might have been during the day, which may be
Right.
hard.
right. Okay. So, do you want to give that up, Russ, or do you want to sort of see how it goes?
Yeah, because like, again, I can go during the day. 'Cause
Right, okay. I don't want to pressure either one of you. It doesn't matter to me, but we really should have somebody going to those meetings.
I think the few years ago, the BAC and the CIP were meeting around 5 o'clock. But because Ken Case still works, so he talked them into all going 6 or after.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think there were a couple other people too that worked. Yeah,
That gives people a chance to go home and have supper and then.
Right.
okay. Okay, so I'll let Gail know we have 2
Mhm.
possible, and we'll see how it goes once they schedule some meetings. So we have a new chair.
Yeah, I make a motion to nominate Christine for vice chair.
Second.
We'll vote then.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
I make a motion to nominate Carter Sartell for secretary.
Second,
Yes.
Yes.
yes,
yes.
okay,
And for the record, she emailed
yes.
everybody stating that she would take.
Yeah, she
That-
emailed us.
we're
saying
not making her
she's
take it
still
without
willing to
her
do
knowing.
Yeah, that's great. And then we also have interest, we now have a vacancy, since Russ was elected, he is no longer an alternate, he's a full member, so we have a vacancy for an alternate position, and we did get a letter of interest from James Medeiros, Jim. And you're on North Road, is that
Yes.
correct? And, you've been in town like 2 years? Yeah, I think I met you in the parking lot once when you first moved in.
Yeah, it may come closer to 3. We stayed in a camper out for a whole year on the property, so.
Right.
No power, no electric, no, nothing. So we ran on generator and all in propane. We did have septic tanks, so I had to manually. Anyways, without getting too detailed. But yeah, no, we enjoyed that one there.
And I think your letter said you were on a board in Hudson, is that right?
No, I was, when we lived in Wisconsin, I
Oh,
was in
Wisconsin.
the fire department, and an EMT and rescue driver, and I was vice president of a volunteer ambulance service for a while.
Okay,
But no actual experience. I enjoyed it.
okay. But you've been on the ZBA in Temple. As
Yeah,
an alternate.
just as an alternate for, not very long.
Okay, okay.
To be honest, to be frank, I attended one of these meetings when you guys were talking about 80 years. I have 60 acres and I also have a son and his family. I have plans to hopefully bring some of my family up here. In fact, my son's planning on moving into camper for a while on the property with his family. As long as we, and Ken seemed to think it was okay, and so we're looking into that. So that had my interest in understanding the planning piece of this.
Mhm.
I didn't know the difference between a planning board and a zoning board, so I volunteered on the zoning board. And found out it wasn't what I really wanted to go to, but I made a commitment, so.
Okay,
And it is interesting. And again, I'm just interested in being a part of the town and participating in the town, so. I went to the town office literally before the election, towards the late part of the application process and said, hey, looking to participate, and are there any openings? And
Russ hadn't signed up yet.
yeah, and they said, yeah, there's, I said, is there any openings, or what's the status on the planning board? And they said, well, we have, I think, one applicant and 2 vacancies, and I said, oh, yeah. So that's how I won the election,
okay,
but I had no thoughts that I would get elected. But and if I didn't know the folks here, I probably would have not done that. But anyways, but bottom line is I have interest. I am retired out of the military. I still work full time, but I work from home. Pretty much 100%. It's actually 95%. I think I'm just going once a month for MIT Lincoln Laboratory. I'm a cybersecurity guy. Also radar, air traffic control radar, and electronics, and computers, obviously cybersecurity. So that's what kind of things I had to offer. I'm a scout leader.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep, I have a couple of questions for you, Jim.
Sure.
I'm Bruce Colvin. I think we
Yeah.
met the last meeting. So your interest in Temple zoning, have you had a chance to take a look at the zoning, or how do you feel about the town as a whole? You've been here only a short time, but is there a direction? Is there things you think we've done right? And is there a direction that we could go? I know you had mentioned ADUs, and I know we're working on it as a board.
Yeah, so
it's good with the.
obviously I have a vested interest in understanding that process a little bit, and I would say that the biggest thing that caught my attention was, and I wasn't comfortable enough to stand up and talk at the time, so I didn't say much. I didn't know enough about the town, but if I could have spoke at that meeting, which I would have said that I would have strongly encouraged the family aspect of an ADU, right? I'm in a situation where I'm 60, my wife's older than I am. She'd kill me for saying it. So I repeat it. But so we're readying ourselves for retirement. This is our retirement plan, doing a little hobby farm. And my son and his family want to come in and help with the hobby farm and stuff, and bring all their kids, and they've got a lot of kids, 5 kids. Anyways, the bottom line is we built a small house, right? So we built a timber frame house, just big enough for my wife and I, essentially a 2-bedroom, and they would obviously need something bigger. Since our house is the first, and technically theirs would be the ADU, if I understand the process correctly, and the ADU is supposed to be smaller than the main house. I was like, well, look that, and say, well, we want.
That's a great point.
Yeah, it is a great point.
Great point.
From a family perspective, right? So, but I want to make clear that, my interest in the planning board is under no illusion of thinking that I can come in here and say, this is the way it should be. It is certainly offer, like I just did, my thoughts on something, but obviously I would have to abstain from anything involving me. So I hope that answers your question, but that's my only input is the family aspect of it was brought, it was brought up a little bit, I think. But I look at it as, I bought 60 acres blindly with no understanding of planning or zoning or town stuff at all, saying, well, I'm gonna buy 60 acres, and then maybe my son might want to take a piece here, and someone else might want to take a piece of the land there, and I'd be happy to give it to them. you know, but it's not that simple.
Right, then there's the frontage thing and there's all this other.
I have.
He knows the frontage. He knows all about the
Yeah,
frontage.
Yeah,
How many? Yeah, just,
66.
oh,
I don't even meet the minimum 300.
yeah,
Grandfather.
68 was 59.
yeah, the small amount of frontage with a large tract of land takes the fun out of it sometimes, but
Yeah.
for somebody that might want to build more than one property, but you know, that's because it's town road or, you know.
My son's going into this wide open, knowing that he's gonna see, I should say that my son is living in my house in Hudson. Right now, so his intent is to vacate that place and come stay in that, brand new park home thing. And then I would sell that house. And then with that money, you know, we could figure out whatever we have to do to help and get him going for, pick out a piece of the property, look at what we have to do, if we could subdivide, if we could use that, you know, I don't know, if there's a grandfather, if the 66-foot of frontage is grandfathered for that too, actually, and I'm rambling, but Pete Caswell said he thought there was old plans from my lot that actually subdivided it before.
He's one of the few left that would know.
Yeah, he would know.
So that's the first I heard of that, he just told me that 2 weeks ago. Bottom line is, we certainly want to do things all the up and up. And we know the challenges, subdividing, because we have to, I just recently looked up, can he build a house on my property? Yeah. Bank's not gonna loan you money to build a house on somebody else's property, because as soon as it's built, it belongs to them. So, so subdivision is the only way, unless I buy the second house, and it meets the ADU requirements. So we have a lot of work ahead of us
Mhm.
to figure out our situation. I'd like to know the people next to me. It's a trust, so it's a little harder. I think I know where the lady lives, but I don't know how much influence she has on the property. But they're the ones that have that wage that I need.
Mhm.
So if I can reach out to them, say, hey, can you buy some of this? So I can get, you know, they have 1,000-foot of frontage. Anyways, sorry, long-winded.
Yeah, no, that's great. The only thing I think I love your energy and the fact that, you know, you're new to town and you want to be involved. And it doesn't sound like you want to, you know, come in and change things or lock the door, throw away the key type of thing. And so it sounds like you know, could be a good fit on this board as an alternate. And the only thing that I was concerned about, and I had spoke with Christine about it, and she seems to think it's okay legally serving on, because I don't think we've ever had that in Temple that I can ever remember in my lifetime, where we've had somebody on a planning board and on the zoning board at the same time.
Yeah.
Because so it's
Right, so the legal opinion on that, because I went to a session where this very question came up, was that it's okay as long as you recuse yourself from one or the other if an application goes to both.
Right.
Right, so if you participate in the ZBA, you'd recuse from the planning board or vice versa.
And-
It's generally not a great idea to do it, but legally you could.
So an example would be Ben's maple syrup had gone through the ZBA first, and then came to us for site plan review. So if you were on dealing with the ZBA, you would have to recuse yourself for the whole site plan review process as a planning board alternate.
Right,
And that could impact the board as a whole when it comes to meeting the board.
So that's an example of how it could.
Yeah, but
Right.
but that should be considered by you all, because that could impact the limited people, you know.
Right.
On the board, and,
Right.
you know, that could be an impact. And which is why I brought it up, and I brought it up, actually, wasn't something I thought of, Pete Caswell as well about that.
Mm,
So, you know, I am interested that, I'll give you another example, I think that might help you with assessing me from your question, if I pick that out.